We have four boys, and none of them have, they grew up with not having personal technology. And yeah, not a single one of them had a personal technology growing up. So my husband and I made that intentional decision that they were not, we wouldn't have that for them in the home or even anywhere else. And like, being Nigerians and raising kids in this Western world. And when you like think of your own childhood where you had like that freedom to just be and play and run around and a sense of community and just being able to the constant laughter or thereof, not like more from my husband. Mine was just more kind of like it was a whole different story, like for another time. But it was just more like how all those things happen. And we just wanted that connection with like the bond. Because still to this day, I mean, a big part of that decision is like my husband and his siblings weekly without fail, they still have those hangouts. You still hear the laughter, the connection. They have their own families, they have their own thing, but they always meet once a week and just catch up and see how things are doing. And sometimes the dad would join a call, but without fail, they have this group call. They do have their individual calls during the week and like that. You could have speak to them the day before and the next day, a clockwork when they decided that call still happens. So yeah, that's kind of like, and it just, and we wanted that for our boys. We wanted them to have that sense of like unity and like, yes, you can say my brother is my bestie or like we hang or we do stuff together or like we can call and all those things. And even like during like when they have their birthdays or whatever, and the family friends would be like, okay, let's give them a thing. And it's like, no, thank you. We're good. We eventually had a main computer and it was in the living room where everyone was there to see what you were doing. So there was no, even if you had homeworks, we take turns or whatever. So there was no like, okay, I have this. And then when they had, it would still had to be in the, like, they had to use as if one or two of them had something at the same time, then everybody gets to see it. And that meant like they had no personal gain in his house. I know. Instead they were like doing other stuff. Right. At one time they were learning piano, but they were very heavy into the sports and things like that. And now I we have I have a 20, we have a 20-year-old next year who'll be 20 and a 17-year-old almost 18 next year as well. And I just wanted to like see like how has that decisions that we have shaped them? We still have two under who are still just finishing up the primary and just in the secondary school and like how has our decision has shaped that and honestly like the knock-on effect and things like that. Yeah, what that gets to look like, not having that personal technology and all that. So yes, they didn't have it right up to they were 16 or when they finished their GCSEs. So the exams over here, which is kind of like end of secondary school, high school. Once that's done, then you can then have the technology. Um, was our like premise and decision. So when our first one went into secondary school, and we told him like he knew of the rule anyway, and yes, friends started having the peer pressure. It's like yes, they got teased or he got teased initially for not having, especially the transition. A lot of people were now sharing contacts. It's like just write it down in all those things. And as the time went on, he was just like, okay, fine. It is what it is. And he found other ways to like make things happen. Even when we go out to functions and stuff like that, like you see my kids doing like, the kick around the ball or doing something or hoovering over whoever has a device sometimes. And, that then feels like, oh, okay, like entices into want to see what's going on. So when he then finished, doesn't mean we then hand you a device. No. you had to be saving up for your device. So we'd tell them, start, if you want a device, start saving up and then go buy your stuff. And then you get your own data. And then because independence has to be there because we didn't want to bring up entitled people that if anything happened. Side note, when one of them, right, we have free travel here for the buses for the kids. And he left his pass on the bus one day. And he knew that if he came back home, he would have to use his own money or say work to make the money to pay for it. Mommy and daddy was not going to like pay for a replacement card for him. That wasn't a thing. He walked to the bus carriage. He then went through, they showed him where the passes that were handed in. He went through it, like digging in. And he said he spent almost like half an hour in there until he found his. And the boss they were shocked that, my goodness, no one does this. No one comes looking for their stuff. They're quite impressed. He's like, oh no, I didn't want to use my money to pay for the thing. And I guess that is a way of the resilience of like, oh, okay, I have to look after my stuff. I have to like, this is my thing. If not, it's on me to replace it. Because in the real world, no one's gonna like just come on like, yeah, okay, here, new one. No. And it wasn't something we told him. It was just something that he decided that, oh no, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go and find a solution and I'm going to go and do that. So yeah, that's kind of like one of the things that has come up from there. Like kids are very resourceful. They find ways, especially when they know it was coming to time, they had to buy their own devices. They started reselling. They started like making up stuff. My first one made the money. He saved it, then asked, okay, can I now buy my own game? I think it was PlayStation at the time, 4. I don't know which one. But again, he saved up his money and bought his devices. So now there's now a thing in the house. Again, he wanted it in his room. Like, no, mate, it has to be in a public space and stuff like that. And you can't just use it all the time. It's distracting for the other ones as well. To the point now that the evolution of the things like before they didn't have technology, whatever. So now the younger ones can play over the weekends or during school breaks, set time. And so I guess that's the different thing here now. So even though the brother had one and then after a while he got a new one, so he gave them that. So technically, I wouldn't say it's a personal thing. It's like game in the house, but we tend to use it on the weekend. So even though my first two had nothing, these other two now have something, you know, to have, but it's still not, this is mine, or you can say it's ours, but it's not theirs. I say this is our PC. No, it's your brother's who's allowing you to use the thing at set time. Um, and so with the first one, it was just kind of like, okay, fine, it's what it is. Or the second one, he, gosh, and did he test us? Did he like wanted to like find ways to like, okay, maybe they're now like, with technology and everything, people are like getting new phones and things are replacing their hands. Like people are having like extra devices in the drawers, and maybe a friend gave him a device and then he had it. And then like, why am I not hearing this human being? It turned out he had this phone, he had this spare phone he's using in the room. We confiscated that phone. I guess the person who wanted it back. It's like, man, you're in like this is the he found it difficult. He was more into like the sporting and the device and wanting to know what's going on. That sometimes when they had like games and they were having given information, he was clueless. He was always getting secondhand information because they would have to like tell him what's going on, and I think because of that he wanted the device. But again, it was like you will survive, you would know the information. And I guess the other things that when I tell friends and family, it's like, yeah, but how would you know where they are? What's the safety? My kids know. They know like how to approach a responsible adult. You would tell them like, okay, this is who to look out for. This person uniform, that person, whatever. They knew our number by heart. They knew our address. They knew like, they could describe whatever. It just, if the worst case scenario, what's your, this is the number, da 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 da, like speed dial, they know it. Like they know the numbers. They know where they live, the address. They like it took a while to kind of like, okay, before they went into like secondary school, you had to know your like how to write the address with the postcode and with everything, like know the full address, just in case. Because people are like, yeah, but if anything, like that was not a worry that if they had to reach out to us or if whatever it is. Fortunately, we live in like, yes, people, there's still crazy people out there. But when you live in that fear that something would happen, maybe something would. But we don't have that. They know that school finishes at this time. You have this grace. This is how long it takes you to get home, and this is when you're expected at home. If you don't, then you know that there is worry or there's consequences of like what's going on? Why are you not home? Again, so that made it like they didn't have the opportunity to just go out hanging with friends or do this. They have after school activities or things like that. We knew. So everyone knew where one would be. And if any plans change, again, and goodness, the people you just see a random number and just like pick up, yeah, hey mom, it's me, I'm using my phone, da, 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 and that's it. And then that's kind of like how we would communicate in that way and without him having to um do that because I have been, I've done jobs where, as an interpreter where I've gone into meetings where there's been safeguarding issue, a group of 9-year-olds created a WhatsApp group to just hang and chat by each other. And then what started happening? They started bullying, they started exposing it. It's like at 9. First of all, what are you doing on the phone? I mean, if someone in a secondary school, I get it, but the 9-year-old having a personal device and then being in a group chat. And then this child was then being bullied. So I was interpreting for the parent of um, the child who was bullied because they were like one of the things they're bullying them was because the parents were deaf and they were like, taunting and like just feeling like it just became a thing. And I just could not understand why they had one. They're older, I get it, but like anyway. So when you see things like that, I've also done a case where a child was exploited over the phone, like just made to send images of themselves, thinking they were speaking to another teenager, and turned out that it was some grown-ass person that then wanted to, it was now like blackmailing them to want to send more, like, and it became this stress and like having to interpret that as well. You be minding your own business. You be in a group of friends. Your child's fine. And then another child will just send them an image that their mind is not even supposed to see, or they start being exposed. Or my kid will tell me about other classmates who are like addicted to like, the PURN thing. And like what like I just feel like yes, we can't protect. I'm sure like he's in class. Some people can always go like this here, look at this, or like, who knows what's happening in school. As long as like for us, it's like in the home, ain't happening. We would try our best as much as possible to not let you get exposed to that, to not let you be addicted to like the different apps that is out there, the different stuff or that's whatever. My first one didn't like open up a thing until afterwards. Um, Second one, kind of like I think he created one maybe when he was 14, 15. We found like he didn't have one and he told us when he created because they had to do something. And it's like for us, that's kind of like one of for me was just like the exposure. You be minding your own business, then someone just come and start sending you messages or texting you or bullying you or like ganging up on you. So one of the jokes, one of my kids was like, at least like no one's saying anything about me because I ain't on it. Like no one like there's nothing to say or do because how you gonna see it? No one talks to you. I said to come talk to you first. You know, the thing that like was difficult for especially like my third one now moving forward is just when kids were like when we're moving going into secondary school, they tend to like go into different schools. So you start off here, and then you get two or three here, four here, five here, some here, and then there was one school a lot of them moved like went to, but we moved, so we didn't have that opportunity. He missed that, and like he wanted to have that the content. Like, look, people coming into your life in seasons. Um, you will make new friends, you create new bonds, you get new rooted in it. One of my big ones now, same thing happened, lost touch. Now that he's back in touch with one of his friends from primary school, and they're good friends again. So it's not like, yes, you will lose that whatever touch or things like that. But again, it would you'll find a way. You know, some people with you a long time, some people just a spurt, some people whatever. It's about who you are, how you are just evolving in yourself. Yes, there are certain things that people get to know, especially if there's like if school's out or certain homework or whatever or something, they don't know. The school know they don't have a phone. The teachers know they don't have a phone. So they make sure that whatever's being sent, they're being told or they have like they have that knowledge. When it is a sporting activity, we put ourselves in the chat or whatever it like they created a parents one. So we let him know and we sort things out. And things just kind of like happen. So now let's talk about when they got the phone. You know, like when even like, okay, so we tend not to have fizzy, maybe have it once a week or once every other week or when we're having a special celebration, whatever that is. And then you go to a party and then my kids, one of them just went like it was like, you know how you have like a help yourself to whatever you want party, drink wise, food wise, kind of like thing. And he just went for it. We saw him a bunch of time, but he just kept going and going to the point he got sick. Or like, you know, you've drank so much you've never drank. I think the high, no one told him not to touch that thing again for a while. He did not touch it. After it was just like, and then so the same was true with this device for my first one. When he bought this thing, he's like, oh, he was on it, on it, on it. But yeah, we restricted like, okay, no, not oversleeping, whatever. But he was constantly on it. And after a while, it's just kind of like, okay. It is now like in the rhythm, and now he's using it for like other things in creating whatever. But yeah, that's kind of like how it's rolled. And because of that, so in terms of like having that bond and having that connection with the kids with them, my first two went to different schools because we went into a first school. The second one went into a different one because we missed it. We went away during the exam for him to be able to go into that school. So he missed it, so he didn't get a place. So they're not able to be in the same school. And that I think because of the school way of things, and he then eventually went into a sporty school, which was really good for my second one. And the you know, the like closeness is there, but it's not there because the interests are kind of like different. But the rootness in the beginning is still there. And when they're together, they are cool. And I do believe that when they're older, when we're no longer here, that they will come back. That intention will be there. Whereas with my younger ones, we're making it so that they have similar interests. They have the other two. They somewhat look like twins. People think they're like twins. And I celebrate when people say, "Oh, they're twins." I'm like, yeah, no, they're not. They're about 18 months apart. But anyway, now having to like make sure like they're in the same school, they're in the same interest, they're doing the same thing. They would be more like the bestie kind of like thing because they would be able to look after even there's been incidents where they've been able to like just be there for each other and support each other, going to school and all those things. So um the desire per se is not there, but there's still time of like they'll be hanging together, they'll be doing stuff. Everyone's in different things now, but let's see how it plans out. So far, they're not like, like let's go and whatever because one's such a homebody, the other one's like a busy bee, likes to go out and go out to do sporting things, whereas the other one's just likes to chill. So in terms of like that, I guess it's just personality thing that they're not, and they're still under the same roof per se. So it's not like, okay, we're going to the park together, or we're going to see this person. The age gap difference thing as well. So we'll see how it flows. But that's how our home so far, we're still in it. And the ones that have graduated, they now have their own devices that they're paying for and maintaining and everything is, yeah, that's how it's rolling down this way of no technology. So technically, personal thing, no phone still stands, but the younger ones now have opportunity to play the PS or whatever it's called, five, not four, whatever that is over the weekend, a restricted time. So we're moving with the times, yeah, but still no personal device. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like, do you allow your kids to have like personal devices, or what's your decisions from having that or not having that? Let's take the conversation down in the comments, and like I would love to know what's your pros and cons on that is, and then yeah, and get some more tips and see how I can like take you forward to next time. Bye for now.